Welcome to Heaven Awaits. My name is Leigh, and I narrate the near-death experiences of those who have died and have seen the other side. If you enjoy these videos, please consider hitting the thumbs up, subscribe, and bell icons to be notified of new content. Doing so is free, and it does help the channel grow. Get comfortable, grab a cup of coffee or tea, and let's dive into today's experiences. When I moved to Puerto Rico in 1994, I had no idea that I would live through a near drowning, even though the island, surrounded by oceans and seas, scared me. I have always had a fear of drowning in deep water. A year and a half after arriving, on September 9th, 1995, I was settled in my own home and busy working full-time. I was happy and having great fun with my local companions, who had become family to me. One night after work, I gave a ride to some visitors of my friends who were visiting the island. I drove them up the west coast where I lived and worked. After some cajoling, I was glad to take the drive up along the coast of beautiful Puerto Rico as I drove my local friend and his visitors up to their cottage where they were staying for a week. It was evening by the time we arrived. I was going to stay the night and then drive home in the morning after shopping and going to the beach. Later that night, Maury and I went for a walk together down to the beach. He was the handsome brother of the friend who had asked for the ride. We were getting along great. I felt invigorated and blessed, enjoying one of the most enchanting beaches in the world. This is the surfing capital of Puerto Rico and is known worldwide by surfers who ride the huge waves along the pristine shoreline. The waves were gigantic and loud that particular night because of the post-hurricane weather, with another hurricane on the way. We were playing by the shore with the beauty of the night sky offsetting the romantic ocean at our fingertips. We were lulled into the ocean. While playing in the water, the ocean terrifyingly grabbed us in one wave. We were swept out to sea. Panicking, we struggled together to swim back to shore, but the waves were too big and powerful. Plus, the riptide had a deadly hold on us, and we could not swim against it. I knew nothing of riptides or what to do if ever caught in one, which is to swim parallel to the shore until out of the riptide current. I did know I was going to drown that night and would never make it back to the beach. Due to the violent blasting of the waves, Maury and I were forcibly separated 3 times. He was not able to stay or swim me to the shore. I found myself alone in the middle of the vast, immense ocean, fighting for my life. I was able to prolong survival by timing the waves crashing on my head. I think I was out there for about 30 minutes, although it felt like forever. As the waves washed me under, over and over, I was able to tell when to take a breath, to sustain me underwater, until I swam up to the surface, to take another breath. This went on until I was too exhausted to move any body part. The moment arrived when I became aware of exactly which wave would pummel me underwater to my death. As I inhaled my last breath, I felt a peace releasing all fears. The moment had come to get right with God. I was acutely conscious of the knowledge I would not make it up to the surface again. I was having my last view of the beach, the stars, and the expansive blue, dark ocean. As I took the breath that would sustain me for the rest of my life, I timed the wave falling on me. The ocean stilled and became very quiet. Stars began to fall on the horizon and dropped into the sea. When I looked up at the wave, it was suspended above me, dripping droplets of water from its crest. The next moment, I traveled to space. My spirit was taken in an instant to outer space and exploded into pure consciousness. I was acutely aware in my mind that I was traveling and had become an astral being. I was taken into the sky and space. I was above the beach and to the right of the almost full moon. I was completely conscious of being alive without a body. As I began to comprehend where I found myself, my mental dialogue was the same as when I was in the physical realm. I noticed my mind was still thinking, hearing, and seeing. I tried to figure out where I had been taken. My spirit eyes felt the same as seeing through my body's eyes. My mind told me I was in a holy place. I was a visitor to a house of God. The next moments were timeless, as I was gently informed about how I lived my life on earth. Completely non-judgmental, yet clear and precise was the voice inside my head. I learned why I was dying and how it would affect my loved ones. More information kept flooding my consciousness as I listened, learned, and understood profound life conditions of the past, present, and future. I became my proof of individual divinity, blessed with immortal life, by the infinite mercy of God's unconditional love. The revelations seemed to go on until I noticed a bubble of light, so to speak, to the right of where I was floating. Inviting and comforting, all my attention was eventually diverted to it. I knew without a doubt it was the entrance to heaven. I was happy to be going there, especially if what I was feeling is the norm. I forced myself to float towards it. When close, all of a sudden, in an excruciating moment, I was rudely blasted back into my body. The last wave had slammed me down hard as I began the descent into the dark, watery abyss to my drowning death. Then I felt a hand. Miraculously, I was rescued out of the last wave at the exact moment I was going to drown. Upon realizing I was being pulled to safety, I died and do not remember being pulled out of the water and laid on the beach. Upon resuscitation, when I struggled to wake up, I was shocked to find out I was still alive, and much to my chagrin, still in my body. The only thing I could think about was my near-death experience and how much I wanted to go back to where I had just visited. Plus, it made no sense I was on Earth. The rest of the night and into the next morning became an extended fight to live. By the time the light of the new day dawned, I had lived through the first near drowning, to almost die again from secondary drowning. Upon admittance to a hospital, I spent a long week in the intensive care unit. Upon being discharged, I went home a different person than whom I had been before that fateful night up the western Puerto Rican coast. That does it for Jennifer's experience. Moving on to Thomas's experience. It was early in the morning at the hospital around 7:30 a.m. The nurse in the room asked me if I wanted to sit in the chair before breakfast, the day before I had had a fem-pop done in my right leg. Note: femoral-popliteal bypass surgery is used to bypass diseased blood vessels above or below the knee. Heart attack is cited as one of the risks of this surgery. The nurse aided me in getting into the chair. About 3 minutes after sitting down in the chair, I felt my eyeballs roll back into my head, and I heard the nurse say to me repeatedly, "Mr. Thomas, please do not do this to me." The next thing I knew, I was in this beautiful room filled with the most gorgeous white light shining all about. I could feel a loving, comfortable, fearless feeling, and I felt no pain whatsoever. It was easy for me to breathe, and I felt so comfortable. In front of me, there was a bed made of stone with beautiful white sheets and a pillow clad in a white pillowcase. I could see the stone corners of the bed. There were 3 stone steps to climb up to the bed. I started, or at least I thought I did, to push myself up to get into the bed by going up the stone steps. Some type of force kept me back. The force was so strong that I could not even move my shoulders. From the direction of the light source came a voice that said to me, "Thomas, you have lived a good life, but I have something even more important for you to do. I do not want you now." After that, I heard my daughter on the telephone saying, "This is baloney," at someone. After that, I looked down and saw a nurse hitting me in the chest and yelling for the paddles. The next thing that I knew, the doctor was there to my right. I asked him, "Why is everybody getting so nervous and excited?" The doctor said, "He is alive," and told me that he was taking me to the operating room. He told me that he was going to do open heart surgery on me immediately. I did not have any sense of time or vision during the experience. Later, I found out that my lungs had collapsed and I had flatlined. That does it for today's experiences. It seems that I enjoy challenging myself with this medical terminology. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay safe and continue to be blessed.